Do you like a challenge? Do you like a bargain? Do you like cats and dogs? If so, I've got the perfect puzzle for you. Hi there, it's Vicki. Welcome to Puzzles and Purrs. And today I'm going to be doing a review and sharing a time lapse of this puzzle called Cat Café and Dog Park. Now you might be wondering, what makes this puzzle a challenge? Well, let me tell you. This puzzle has two sides. It's a double-sided puzzle. One side is the Cat Café side, and the other side is the dog park side. So it's quite challenging, as you might imagine, as you go through the pieces to sort or look for what you need, to have two kinds of pieces, one with a predominantly pink background and one with a predominantly green background. What makes this puzzle a good deal? It's simple. You get two puzzles for the price of one. I bought this puzzle recently at Barnes & Noble. It was $14.99, and I probably wouldn't have gotten it at $14.99 if it was just one puzzle. So if it was just the Cat Cafe puzzle, I probably would have passed it up. But the fact that I got to pay one price and have two puzzles to do made me really want to do it. So today's video is only going to focus on the Cat Cafe side. At some point, I will do the dog park side, and that will be a separate video. I decided to do it this way because, well, first of all, I wanted to do both puzzles. Even though when I was done with the Cat Cafe side, you could see what the dog park side looked like. So today we're just going to be doing the Cat Cafe part because I didn't want this video to be super long. Okay, let's take a look at the puzzle. It is from Professor Puzzle, which is a brand I had not puzzled before. And let's see if they had an artist listed. I believe they did not, or I couldn't find one. I'm looking here. I don't see anything about the art. It just says design rights and copyright Professor Puzzle. So maybe he's a professor of art. I don't know. Maybe he or she. There's no reason a professor has to be a he. Except I thought, is there a picture of Professor Puzzle? No. Professor Puzzle could then just as easily, we don't know the gender of Professor Puzzle is the point. But maybe Professor Puzzle is the artist. No idea. Okay, so I thought the box was really cute. It has both sides here, and it's got this cute little drawer here that you open up, and there's a kitty and a dog. I really liked the style of art in this puzzle. It's kind of a cartoony style. So look, you open up the drawer. You can pull it out if you want. There's just the empty box there. And here's what came in the box when I opened it. We had a really good size poster here of Cat Cafe. And on the other side is Dog Park. But here's what's really neat. In the puzzle, there are Easter eggs that you can find. And Easter eggs, if you're not familiar, are just kind of like hidden little gems or little hidden things that you can find. So like, for example, number 1 says, how many paw prints, excluding collars, are there? How many sleeping cats can you find? Okay, I did not share any of these answers in the video because I did not want to spoil anyone. So, but it is another fun element to this. And as a matter of fact, if you puzzle and you have younger kids, they might really get into this part here, trying to find the things in the puzzle. So, okay, we got a good size poster, which is always a plus. I love those. Then the puzzle comes in this paper bag, which I also like. And look, it's got a little paw print sticker on it. Isn't that adorable? I love the attention to detail. Speaking of detail, the bag says Professor Puzzle on it, which is really cute too. Okay, something that this box comes with that I have not seen on other boxes is it came with these dividers that you could use to, it shows it on the back maybe. Yeah, includes puzzle piece sorter. So you can use them to divide the box for sorting purposes. Now I will tell you, even for a 500-piece puzzle, which this is, I think that if you use this, I'll show you. Let's see if we can get it together quickly. I did not use this. I found it to be very little room for sorting. So, but you can, which is a nice option. I think it's a really cute option, and it would be nice if more puzzle companies did this, especially those puzzle companies that use larger boxes. Okay, so that was it. Was in the drawer. Let's open up the bag and take a look at the pieces. Okay, now get some pieces out for you and hold them up. And then I'll tell you a little secret about the pieces. Okay, can you see those? So these pieces are relatively glossy, I would say. I don't know if you can see that. So this is from the Cat Café side. This is from the dog park side. I feel like the dog park is a little less glossy. Let me just show you here a comparison of the two. I could be wrong, so you tell me if you think maybe they're equally glossy. I don't know. They're definitely not matte pieces. So the pieces are super sturdy. They are pretty thick and pretty hard to bend. I don't know why you'd want to, but I'm just thinking about repeated use so if this puzzle gets donated. It's a grid cut puzzle, so it's got your typical puzzle pieces. This guy, let's see, this one here with the two out and two in like that. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, this one, the threesies. And, you know, just your usual typical puzzle pieces. This is the one I was looking to show you, okay? So those are the kind of pieces that are in this puzzle. However, when I opened the bag to start this puzzle that I was super excited about, I noticed something interesting. There were a lot of pieces that were stuck together, like almost as if the puzzle had been assembled and then it was tried to be taken apart, but they kind of got lazy and didn't take it all apart. But this was a brand new puzzle, so I know it hadn't been assembled before. And I just found it really odd. And I had to spend a good deal of time actually taking pieces apart, okay? The way I chose to tackle this puzzle was I pulled out the border pieces first. I'm a border first girl. And after that, here's where it got interesting. I usually love to rummage through a box. So I will have a bunch of pieces and I'll rummage and dig and, you know, sort through there looking for what I'm looking for. With this puzzle, however, being two-sided, it was impossible to do that. I believe I started it and then realized, oh, this isn't going to work at all. And you could probably see that in the time-lapse video. So what I then decided to do was take a couple of puzzle drawers, I believe. I don't know if I used boxes or drawers, I don't recall. But I basically laid out all the pieces and had them facing so that the Cat Café pieces were facing up. And you're probably wondering, well, how did you know which were the Cat Café pieces and which were the dog park pieces? Well, this is something I did like about the puzzle. This might be hard to see on camera, but I'm going to give it a go. The Cat Café pieces had a little more of a roundedness to them. They almost look like, if you are old enough to recall stickers. I mean, there's still stickers these days, but when I was a kid, sticker collections were a big thing. Like girls in elementary school, whatever, collected stickers. And they would have these puffy stickers that had like a little spongy layer in between the stickers, and they were a little puffed. That's kind of what these pieces remind me of. So they were like just the slightest bit puffed, like a normal puzzle piece. Then if you looked at the dog park side, they were completely flat. There was no puffiness. And here, I'll hold one of each and we'll see if you can spot kind of what I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see that, but that made it super easy. So I basically turned over all the pieces that belonged to the Cat Café part and got started. Now I will say this puzzle, the Cat Café puzzle, was a little harder than I thought it would be. And what made it so hard were just a lot of pink, a lot of small details. Did I mention a lot of pink? I don't even know if this color is called pink. Is it like a salmon? I don't know. Whatever it is, there was a lot of it. The image is pretty cute. I still couldn't determine if it was a cat. Let me get the bigger poster. If it was a cat cafe in the traditional sense, which I don't think it is, where you go, you pay a fee, and you get to play with and pet cats. Because there were a lot of people in this cafe just working on their computers. And people seemed to be there to socialize and do work rather than hang out with the cats. So I feel like it might have been a cafe that this man here opened, and maybe he's got a lot of cats and they just come to work with him. And people come in and they do work. Some people, here's like some little romance corner. They're holding hands because, you know, my husband and I love to go to cafes and hold hands, especially when there's cats around. It's super romantic. We actually don't do that at all, but I would do that. I would go hold hands in a cat cafe. I'm not above that. Anyway, there's also just a lot of cats, and there's a waitress here, and you can tell that she's tripped on something, and there's a coffee mug going through the air. Gee, I wonder what she might have tripped on. Maybe one of the thousands of cats that's just laying on the floor. Look at this. I mean, I don't know how much this waitress gets paid, but it better be a lot because this is a job hazard here, all these cats. And I love cats as much as the next guy, as long as the next guy really loves cats. But this is a lot for a waitress to have to deal with. But it was fun. It was pretty challenging. What we tried to do was just work on the color stuff. So the brown shelves, the red table, the pink here on the counter. So that's kind of how I work this puzzle. I do believe that the dog park puzzle will be a lot easier just because there is not as much of a concentration of one color. Sure, there's a lot of green, but this path here, I think will make the puzzle a lot easier. Okay, so this is one of those puzzles that actually was very unique in that it was incredibly difficult to take apart. This is probably the hardest to take apart puzzle I have ever had in all my years of puzzling. And you will actually see at the end of the time-lapse video. It's pretty funny. If you go all the way to the end of the time-lapse video, what I usually do in my time lapses is in real time with real sound, I take apart the puzzle, get some good like puzzle noises, ASMR stuff going where you can just enjoy the sound of pieces going into a box. And so I started to do that for this puzzle. Unfortunately, this thing would not come apart. So what you see in that video is me trying to tear this puzzle apart, and it still did not want to come apart. It was like this thing was glued together. So I kind of, changed up how I did things and just tore little sections apart, expressed my frustration, usually just hear the sounds of the puzzle, but here there were no sounds of the puzzle. So you will hear the sounds of me being frustrated at the end. And I did finally take it all apart one evening while I was watching TV. But the way it had to be taken apart was literally piece by piece by piece. So if you're a TV watcher, it makes a good TV watching activity. It's pretty brainless. But yeah, if you're not, this is going to eat up a good chunk of your time to just taking apart the puzzle. That being said, would I still do the dog park knowing all this? Yes, I thought it was pretty fun. It was an enjoyable puzzle. It's 500 pieces. There was not a ton of puzzle dust I'll hold this up so you can kind of see. I don't know if you even see that. There was a little bit of puzzle dust, but nothing crazy. I thought it was fun. I'm curious. This is the only professor puzzle I've ever done, and I'm curious if other professor puzzles have the same issue with pieces being stuck together at the beginning and being really hard to take apart at the end. So if you have done a professor puzzle, please let me know in the comments. Did you have issues with pieces being stuck together? I'm really curious about that, as it would probably make me hesitant to do another one in the future unless the image is something that was just too hard for me to resist. So yeah, if you like this video, please leave me a like, thumbs up, subscribe, and I would love to hear what you guys are working on. So please leave a comment with the puzzle that is currently on your puzzle table, on your puzzle board, wherever you do puzzles. I want to hear what you're doing right now. So let me know, and please stay tuned for the time lapse. And don't forget to stick around till the end so you can see me trying to somehow tear this puzzle apart. Thanks for joining us. I'm Vicki, and hope to see you next time. Bye. Okay, I have to say something. Remember how this puzzle had a lot of pieces that were stuck together when I opened it from being brand new? Yeah, they are sticking together now. This is a very difficult puzzle to take apart, so I'm not going to be doing the traditional taking apart and hearing the cool puzzle sounds as they're in the box, because that would be very difficult and it would take forever, and I don't think anyone wants to watch that. I will probably take this apart piece by piece later when I'm watching TV, but for now, let's just get them all in the box. Also, I showed you the other side of this, the dog park side. I puzzled the Cat Café side, but there's a dog side too, which is really cute and actually looked a lot easier than the cat side that I did. So some might say that since I already saw the dog side and it was put together, there's no reason to do it, but I am going to be doing it separately at some point, because I'm really frugal and I like to think that for the price I paid, which, I mean, it wasn't an insane amount. I think it was $14.99 or something. I got it at Barnes & Noble. But for the price I paid, I want to get 2 puzzles. 2. So, yes, I will be doing the other side too at some point.